Hello, beautiful gratitude babes. Welcome back to Come Sit in Gratitude with me. Today is day 33. And as I'm recording this voiceover, I'm realizing that this video is going up tomorrow, which is going to be the 11th. And 33 and 11 are such divine numbers. I just love when synchronicities like that happen because it actually feels really aligned with today's practice. Divinity is really the theme of today's practice. More specifically, looking for divine evidence, not looking for proof that things aren't working, not looking for reasons to give up, not looking for what's missing, but looking for evidence from the universe that things are already moving in your favor. Because sometimes conscious creation doesn't arrive as the entire dream that we're calling in. Sometimes it comes in little tiny confirmations, little winks from the universe, little reminders that you are on the right path, okay? And today feels like one of those days for me. So let's jump into today's practice. My first gratitude is I am so grateful for the major realization I had while studying the Hermetic Principles because it confirmed how truly powerful this gratitude is yummy method and this gratitude is yummy journal really are, and reminded me that I've been living many of these principles which people consider the laws of the universe. I've been living them for years without even knowing that there are names to them. And that feels really, really big because I've spent several hours going through Dr. Stephen Young's Hermetics course, and I was expecting some massive breakthrough, to learn something I'd never heard before, some secret I had never come across before, some missing creation technique. But instead, what I received was something much more valuable, guys. It was confirmation. Okay, I realized that the gratitude is yummy method naturally embodies so many of the principles that govern how reality works. And this isn't because I intentionally designed it this way. I had no idea. It wasn't because, I was like, oh, the Hermetic Principles. How can I come up with the method? Nothing like that. This all came from my own lived experience. It came from observing my own life. It came from practicing gratitude every day, including a reason why. It came from paying attention to what really worked. After being a manifestation coach for years, it came from paying attention to what was working for my clients and what was working for me, right? It came from actually paying attention to the things that were working in different seasons of my life, right? Because sometimes what works for one season doesn't work for another season. So I paid attention to what worked no matter what was happening in my life, okay? And when that realization hit me, I honestly got really emotional because it genuinely felt like the universe was talking to me, was whispering to me yes, Jules, exactly, keep going. This is why we've been doing all this. This is what it's all about. You're on the right path. And I am so deeply grateful for that. And in fact, it inspired me to make an entire video about it, which I posted a few days ago. And that leads perfectly into my second gratitude, by the way, because my second gratitude today is I'm so grateful that the Hermetics video that I posted received 12 views within just a few hours of posting, because it reminds me that my message is really reaching and that it is important. Because guys, every video I've posted since I started this channel will get maybe 1 or 2 views if I'm lucky within the first 24 hours, okay? And the fact that within hours of posting that video, it got 12 views right away, that really said something to me. Now, again, I know that 12 views is nothing to write home about for many people, but around here, okay, we celebrate all the evidence, okay? And what I see is divine evidence, evidence that people need this message, evidence that people are listening, evidence that people are interested, evidence that the algorithm is finding the right audience, evidence that my words are reaching the people they're meant to reach. And, for 6 months now, I've been showing up consistently here. And I tell you guys, every view, every subscriber, every comment, every person who chooses to spend even just a minute here matters to me. So even when I look at my analytics and I see that people are watching my videos for 1 minute, I'm like, oh my God. Okay? Because that's how movements start. They don't start with millions. They begin with one, and then another, and then another. 1 minute and then 2 minutes, and some of my videos are getting 3 minutes average views now. So that's huge. That's major to me. And that's exactly what we're building here together. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Everyone who watched that video, it means a lot that you're listening and you're watching and you're giving feedback. So thank you all. And my third gratitude today is I am so grateful that my Uber plans are postponed until Friday, because it feels like the universe is saying to me, the universe is confirming, no, Jules, you really don't have to work anymore. Okay, like that's how I feel. That's what it sounds to me. And I know it may sound maybe crazy or delusional, I don't know, but I'm just sharing honestly what came up for me. I had every intention of starting Uber today. In my mind, that was the plan, that was the solution, that was the thing I needed to do. And then life stepped in. My niece needs my Nissan until Friday while she waits for her new car, which I think her dad gets on Thursday. And suddenly my entire plan got pushed back. And of course, honestly, my first reaction was a little bit of panic because if I'm being completely honest, I'm getting really close to the wire financially. And so immediately my brain wanted to go to, oh no, what am I going to do? And I even thought about telling my sister, like, I waited as long as I could. I can't wait anymore. But after sitting with it a while, a completely different feeling emerged. And that feeling was trust the process. It was, what if this is happening for me? What if there's a message in this? What if the delay is actually divine? What if the universe is once again asking me to just trust, right? Because here's what's interesting. If I truly needed to be out driving Uber today, wouldn't that path have been clear, right? Wouldn't everything have lined up for that to happen? Right? But instead, the path got blocked. And for some reason, deep in my spirit, it felt less like an obstacle and more like a message. Almost like the universe is gently saying to me, literally, I've got you. Not right, not yet, not yet. Just hold on, just hold on, just hold on. Keep trusting. So today I'm choosing to honor that divine pivot. Today I'm choosing to trust over panic. I know it's not easy. I know when you're in this, it's not easy, but especially when you're down to a few $1,000s. But today I'm choosing faith over fear because frankly, that feels a whole lot better than panic, right? All right, so after activating gratitude, I use this magical, yummy frequency to move into my manifestation script, as I am doing already. And today, something really interesting happened. When I woke up this morning, an affirmation dropped into my awareness, and I just kept repeating it over and over while I was laying in bed, while I was getting ready, while I was brushing my teeth, while I was making my way through my morning, and it just wanted to keep repeating. So today, my manifestation script became incredibly simple. I just wrote that affirmation out over and over and over and over again because sometimes that's just what happens. Sometimes a sentence arrives that feels so true, so alive, so activated in your body. And literally, as I was speaking it, I felt it. Sometimes it feels like that you don't need like an entire page, an entire story. And simply, you just need to sit with that feeling, right? And honestly, like I said, I felt as I was saying the affirmation out loud, I could feel it activating in my body. I could really, really feel it. It felt so real, so electric, so vivid. And, those moments are always so beautiful because they remind me that conscious creation, that manifestation isn't something that you ever need to force. It's always going to come to you. It's something we're always becoming available for. Rather than trying to bring something into our reality, we're just saying, oh, that exists. And I'm just making myself available for it. Right? And that's such a different energy to come from. And that's why I love this method so much and why it's going to change so many lives. And after I finish my manifestation script, I move into my to feel activation. And today I chose the one that has been showing up for me over and over lately. Every time I write it, it feels more aligned, more true, more embodied. And it is the ones you guys have been hearing the last few days. I feel totally aligned with my highest timeline. I walk into this day with an open heart and open hands, ready to receive the miracles, wealth, and peace that belong to me in this new day. I just love it so much. Then after that, I finish with my to-do lists, then my high vibe morning routine, and everything else that helps me move through my day intentionally. And that is our practice for the day, my loves. And if there's one thing I hope you take away from today's entry, it's this, that divine evidence is always there. Okay? The question is simply, what are you looking for? Because whether you're on the side of the thing you're trying to create or the opposite side, whichever side of the pole you focus on, that's what's going to grow. And today I'm choosing to focus on the divine evidence that life is working in my favor. The evidence is here, the support is here, the abundance is here, the opportunities are here. Sometimes they are really small, sometimes they are really subtle, but they are there. And the more we train ourselves to see them, especially with this method, the more of them we're going to find. All right, so thank you all so much for sitting in gratitude with me today. And if you'd like to do this practice in your very own Gratitude is Yummy journal, you can order yours at gratitudebabe.com. I'll also leave the link in the description below. I love you all so much, and I will see you next time. Ciao for now.